Hi, hope you are having a great day or night. If not, I hope it can get better. But also, just for y'all to know, none of those videos are my. And all their usernames are on the video. Anyways, hope you enjoy this awesome video. And don't forget to subscribe.
We could leave the lights on, suntan. We could get lunch. Oh man, I think that I like you. Yeah, but something bugs me about the way you lick your envelope. So I'm out on the block again, so popped up that I can't pretend.
Hi, I've gotten this question a lot, so let me help y'all out, okay? Sound good? So for singles, if you know how to tie your shoes, you know how to tie a single. So what you're gonna do, you do one, just like that. It's honestly just the first step of tying your shoes. I like to do it 3 times with cloth string because it makes it very secure. Now when it comes to elastic, it's a little bit of a different story, but not really. You're just doing the same thing, or at least this is how I do it because this is how I feel comfortable doing it the most. I tie it until it's like, in my opinion, no longer tieable. I basically tie it until I have about a string of knots. Now if you need help tying off cuffs, Mood Candy has the best tutorials on that. Yeah, overall, you got this.
Tutorial on these hearts. Put 8 beads on a string and tie it. Cut the small string off and make sure it's in this shape. Put 3 beads on the string and do what I do. Do it again. And to tie, put the string through the middle to create a loop and put the end of the string through the loop.
Oh, it's yippee!
How to make a candy octopus. More examples. You'll need beads, string, and scissors. Start off by stringing on 16 beads. Tie it off super tightly the same way you would a single. String on 1 bead, then we're going to skip 1 bead and go through the next one. Then pull tightly, string on another bead, skip one bead, go through the next, then pull tightly. And then we're going to do that all the way around. So yours should look similar to this. Now we're going to string the string so it's coming out of one of the beads that's poking up. For me, it's green because I'm doing different colors for each layer. Now you're going to string on a black bead to be one of the eyes. You're going to go through one of the poking up beads, pull tightly. Then you're going to do another normal colored bead, and then a second black bead to be the eyes. Now we're going to continue around the rest with the normal colored bead. Once you're done, put the string through the closest point. Then just like we have for the other layers, we're going to put on one bead, go through a poking up bead, tug tightly. Then you're going to do that all the way around. When you're done, make sure your string is coming out of one of the sticking up beads. Now we're going to go around and do it just as we have been for one more layer. Once you finish the final layer, string your string through one of the sticking up beads and string on one bead. String it through the other bead just as we have before, but then we're also going to take the string and we're going to go through this bead and this bead so that it's coming out of the next point. So my string is coming out of the next point, but there's no bead in between. Then string on another bead, just like we had before, string it through the next point, but then just like we did for this one, we're going to go through this bead and this bead so that it's coming out of the next point with no bead in between. String on another bead, go through a point, have the string come out of the next point. Then string on a bead, go through the next point, and then go through these 3 beads so that it's coming out of one of the very points. Then once it's coming out of the point, string on one bead and go through the closest very point. Then pull tightly and it kind of cinches it together, and then we're going to do that all around. Once you're done, the top should look like a little square. Then you're going to string the string through a lot of beads so that it comes out of one of the points at the bottom. Then we're going to string on 4 beads. I'm doing a rainbow pattern, so it might look different from yours. And then we are going to hold the very final bead back and go through 3 beads with our string and pull tightly, and then go through the closest point. And that's our first tentacle. To show you again, we are going to separate the final bead of the 4, then we're going to put the string through the other 3 beads, then pull tightly and put the string through the closest point at the bottom and pull tightly. Then do that all the way around so you have a total of 8 tentacles. Then tie it off and you have a candy octopus. If you like any of these guys, they're all listed on my Etsy shop. How to make a Kandi X-base cuff. This is the base for most bigger projects, like most cuffs typically use an X base. You'll need pony beads, scissors, and stretchy string. This is exactly what I have. I highly recommend it. It was $10 for a 4-pack. X-base cuffs are something I highly recommend you learn early on when doing Kandi so that you can work on bigger stuff and know what you're doing. First off, figure out 2 colors you want to use. My first color, which I'm going to refer to as color 1 whenever talking, is going to be this purple kind of fully done color. And then what I will refer to as color 2 is these clear purples that have like little foggy white bits. Figure out how long you want it to be. Whatever you do has to be a multiple of 3, so for example, I'm doing 30. Now take your string and string on 2 of your color 1 and 1 of your color 2. This is what we're going to do throughout the entirety of the starter single. So to show you again, 2 of your color 1 and then 1 of your color 2. Continue doing 2 of your first color and then 1 of your second color until you have the length of a single that you would like. As I mentioned before, I am doing 30. To tie it off, we are going to cross the string, then go through and tug, and then I recommend doing multiple knots just until you feel like it's secure. I personally do around like 3 or 4. Then take about a wingspan or half a wingspan worth of string and cut from the main thing, and then we are going to cut the tiny string but not the long one. Make sure that the string is coming out of a second color bead. If not, just go ahead and string it through so that it is. Now we're going to string on one of our first color, one of our second color, and then one of our first color, and we are going to take that and string it through the next second color within the single, and we're going to tug, and then we're going to shape it so that it looks like this and has a little point. Once it is strung through another one of the second color beads, we are going to do that again. So we're going to string on color 1, color 2, and then a second color 1 bead. And just like we did before, we are going to string that through another of the second color beads, then pull the string through, and we're going to make sure that it's pointed like so. And we're going to do this throughout the entirety of that. I've done it all around, so now I'm going to do it through the first bead that we started with, and we are going to, just as we've done all around, we're going to take all the string, pull it through, and then make this a point. Now we're going to string the string and go through the closest point. String through 2 beads, so it's coming out of one of the little points like this. Just as we did for all of these points, now we are going to string on one of your first color, one of your second color, and then another of your first color, and string it through the closest point. And then again, as we did for the other ones, you're going to make it into a nice little point. And then you're going to do that all around. This is what it should look like once you've done it all the way around. There's one more step to actually finish it. If you want to do 1 X, this is where you stop. There's also 2 X's and 3 X's and 4 X's. It continues on forever. And if you want to make one of those, this is a 2X for example, you would just go around and do a layer of the points 2 more times to make the second X, and then 2 more to make the 6X, and so on. The finishing step is the same regardless of how many X's you have. So string the string through 2 beads so that it is coming out of the closest point. Like so. Then we are going to string on 2 of your first color beads and put it through the closest point. Tug the string, and this should help it get a more 3-dimensional shape if it hasn't already. And then we're going to do that all the way around. I'll show you one more time. So we string on 2 of your first color beads, and then we are going to string it through the closest point. Tug, like that. To tie it, we're going to string it through the closest little hole like this, and then we're going to click it so that it's like right here, and then we're going to just pull. And again, just like the other knots, I suggest doing it multiple times just so that it's nice and secure. If you're going to do a project with it, I suggest leaving on any extra string so that you can have string to do the project. If not, just cut it off and you have a nice little X bracelet. Tutorial for how to make a star cuff. Another example. You'll need pony beads, scissors, and string. This is what string I'm using. To start, you need a 1X X-base cuff. There's a tutorial for how to make one within the playlist. If you don't have string left over from when you made the actual X cuff, then tie about a wingspan of string onto it. Make sure that the string is coming out of these 2 beads at the top. String on 11 beads in a pattern similar to this, but it doesn't have to be exact. For example, when I made this, I used this. And when I made this, I used this. Now that we have our pattern of 11 beads strung on, we are going to follow these 3 beads from where the string is coming out and go through these 2. Then tug tightly, and you have your first point. Then string on your pattern of 11 beads again, and we're going to follow these 3 beads and go through these 2. Once strung through, it should look like this, and we're going to make 3 more of these little points to go all around and have 5 points overall. Once all 5 are added, it should look something like this. Now I'm going to string on the first 3 beads in this point, so I'm going to, for me, put a shiny pink, then 2 normal pinks, but you would match whatever you have. Now that I have the 3 beads strung on, I'm going to string into the 4th bead out of the 11. So for me, it is this pink bead, and you're just going to string it on in and pull tightly so that it looks like that. Then you're going to take your string and you're going to string it in this bead, this bead, and this bead, and this bead. So that is a total of 4 beads, 5 if you include the first one. So after stringing through all of them, it should be coming out of this one. Then once again, we are going to be stringing on the first 3 beads out of this so that it matches. Once they are strung on, we are going to skip these 2 and go through these 2. And then we are going to tug so that it looks like this. Then you are going to continue that 8 more times all around. Once you do it all around, it should look like this. Now I suggest tying at this point, so to do that, I'm going to go through this hole, and then I'm going to take the string and click it there, and then pull tightly. Now I'm going to string through these 2 beads so that it's coming out here. Once you string through those 3 beads, go through these 3 so that it's coming out the big point at the top. Once it's at the top, string on 3 beads that match these 3. So for me, I'm going to do big pink, medium pink, and then lightest pink. Now that my 3 beads are strung on, I'm going to go through this bead in the middle right here. And then I don't suggest pulling tightly for this part because it might misshape these points and it'll be hard to tell it's a star once it's fully done. Then you're going to string on beads in reverse of this, so I'm going to put it in the opposite order, so light pink, medium pink, bright pink, but you would do whatever matches yours. Now that my beads are strung on, I'm going to go through the big pointy pink, and then I'm going to do that all the way around, so 8 more times. Once you're done, it should look like this all the way around, and now it's time to tie it. So I'm going to take the string and put it under the little bridge, and then have it click to that bead, and then I'm going to pull tightly, and I suggest doing that multiple times. Cut off your string, and you're done. You have a nice little star cuff. How to make these really clicky-clacky rotator cuffs. I'm not sure if these have an actual name, but I've just been calling them clunky rotator cuffs because they do make such a nice clicking sound. You need beads, string, and scissors. Now these require a lot of beads. I'm not sure of exactly how much, but roughly off the top of my head, I'd say around maybe 200 or 300. To keep things simple, I'm just going to use 2 colors. This blue is going to be my first and main color. Then this gray is going to be my secondary color. To start off, make a 2X X-base cuff. If you don't know how to make an X-base cuff, I have a tutorial in this playlist. Make sure you have about half a wingspan worth of string on the X-base. Then make sure that the string is coming out of one of your secondary color points. Then string on 2 of your primary color beads, 1 of your secondary color beads, then 2 more of your main color beads. Then you're going to take the string and string it through the next secondary color point, and then pull tightly so that it makes a little point. Then you're going to do that all around. Once you're done, it should look something like this. So then you're going to string the string through these 3 beads so that it's coming out of the point closest to it. Then string on 2 of your primary color beads, 1 of your secondary color beads, and then 2 more of your primary color beads. String it through the closest point like this, and make it look like a point. Then you're going to do that all around. When it's done, it should look like this. Now we're going to tie it off by taking the string, putting it through the closest hole, then waiting until we hear something like a clicking sound like that, then pulling the string through the little hole and pulling tightly. And I suggest doing that multiple times just to make sure that it's nice and secure. Then tie string onto the other side and make sure it's coming out of a secondary color bead. And just like the other side, we're going to string on 2 primary color beads, 1 secondary color bead, then 2 more primary color bead, and we're going to put them through the closest secondary color point, pull tightly, and make sure that it makes a little point, and then do that all around. So yours should look something like this, and we're going to string the string through these 3 beads and make sure it goes out of a point. Then string on 2 primary color beads, 1 secondary color bead, and then 2 more primary color beads, and string it through the closest point, pull tight, and form it to make a point. Now do that all the way around. So it should look like this, and then we are going to tie it off the same way that we did for the other side. Now you need to make an X-base cuff with reverse colors as the other one, so your primary colors become your secondary colors become primary, and make it bigger than the base was. So for example, this I made 30 beads around, this one I made 42 beads around. Make sure you have about half a wingspan worth of string. Make sure that the string is coming out of one of the secondary color points. String on 2 primary color beads, 1 secondary color bead, and then 2 more primary color beads. And we are going to follow this line and string the string through this bead. So it should look like this, a little point. And then we're going to string on just as many beads again, and then follow the line and do that all around. So it should look something like this. Now we're going to string the string through so that it's coming out of one of these points. Once it's coming out of a point, string on 2 primary color beads, and then string it through one of these beads so that it does that. Then string on 2 more primary color beads and put it through the point, and then continue on like that throughout the entire bracelet. Once you're done, it'll look something like this, and to tie it off, we are going to take the string and get it under one of these little legs, and there will be a little circle. Take the tail of the string and pull it through the circle, and that makes a knot. Then do that as many times as you can just to be nice and secure. Cut the tails off of both of your projects, and then just put that onto it, and then you're done. If you like the cuff I made in this video, or any of these, I have an Etsy shop where they're listed. It's called Rainy Days Creations. You can see how it's spelled in the top, and the link is in my bio. Tutorial for a gur cuff. I don't have one with me currently because I sold the only one I had. It's just an X base, but with the beads placed in a specific way to make it look like the character gur. You're gonna need green, black, white, gray, and then 2 pink beads. You'll also need scissors and string. Then string on however many beads you want the single to be. Make sure it's a multiple of 3 and includes 2 pink beads. Your single should look something like this. Make sure you have about a wingspan worth of string. Make sure the string is coming out of a green bead right before the 2 pink beads. String on 2 green beads with a black bead in the middle so that it looks like this. Then string it through the next green bead after the pink bead. So I'm going right here. Then tug it and fix it so that it looks like a point. Then string on 2 white beads with a black one in the middle like this. Then we are going to skip these 2 beads and go through this one. And then make sure it looks like a little point. Then string on 2 green, 1 gray so that it looks like this. skip 2, go through this bead, just like we did for the other 2 points. Situate it so that it looks like a point, and then we're going to do that all the way around until we get to this bead. What you have should look something like this. String on 2 white with a black bead in the middle. Then we're going to skip these 2 and string it through this bead. Now adjust your string and put it through this bead and this bead so that it's coming out of this little black bead. Now string on 2 green beads and 1 white bead. Then you're going to string it through the closest point, tug it, and adjust so that it looks like that. Then string on 1 white bead, 2 green beads, and string it through the closest point. Then string on 2 green beads with a black bead in the middle, and then again go through the closest point. Then string on 3 green beads, and I think you can guess we're putting it through the next point. Then we're going to continue with the 3 green beads until we get to this point. What you have should look something like this. String on 2 green beads with a black bead, then go through the closest point. Then string on 2 green, 1 white, and string it through this black bead. Then put on 1 white, 2 green, and string it through this black bead. Then string the string through this bead and this bead so that it's coming out of this point. String on 2 green beads and go through this point. Then again, 2 green beads, go through the closest point. Then, because it's coming out of the black bead, we're going to string on 2 black beads this time and go through this point. Then we're going to continue with the 2 green beads until we get to this point. Because the black bead is the next point, we're going to string on 2 black beads. Then you're going to continue with 2 green beads until you're done. Then tie it off and you have a cute little girl cuff. If you want your own girl cuff, I have this guy for sale on my Etsy shop.
Little Kandi waver, she's my number one, and every time I see her moving, she's always having fun. She's my little Kandi waver, see her shake her thing. I love to see her dance and I love to hear her sing.
Kandi boy river, he's the one for me, and when the music starts to play, we'll be dancing to the beat. He's my Kandi boy river, moving with the flow. When he holds me tight, don't wanna let him go.
Little Kandi waver, she's my number one, and every time I see her moving, she's always having fun. She's my little Kandi waver, see her shake her thing. I love to see her dance and I love to hear her sing.
Kandi boy river, he's the one for me, and when the music starts to play, we'll be dancing to the beat. He's my Kandi boy river, moving with the flow. When he holds me tight, don't wanna let him go. Don't let me go.
Tutorial on how to make a double. First you'll want to get some string. Then pick your beads. For this I will be using buttons and pony beads. Put your beads in a pattern and then put your first button on. Should look something like this. Do that all the way around until it fits your wrist and tie your knot 3 times. Then put a new piece of string through the top of your button. Do that all the way around and tie another knot. It's pretty much the exact same as the bottom. Congratulations! You just made a Kandi double. Here they are with my other doubles. It has an interesting silhouette. These are all of my doubles, haha. Thank you for watching.
日本、ミャンマー、カンボジア、ブルネイ、バングラデシュ、ラオス、フィリピン、マレーシア、ベトナム、ルーカ人民共和国、タイ、ブータン、スリランカ、モンゴル、インド、ネパール、インドネシア、東ティモール、大韓民国、朝鮮民主主義人民共和国、モルディブ、シンガポール、ヨルダン、キプロス、アラブ首長国連邦、イラク、キルギス、レバノン、オマーン、トルクメニスタン、カタール、トルコ、クウェート、パキスタン、グルジア、イエメン、ウズベキスタン、アフガニスタン、サウジアラビア、アゼルバイジャン、カザフスタン、バーレーン、イラン、シリア、アルメニア、タジキスタン、イスラエル、ナウル、キューバス、キバル、バヌアツ、ソロモン諸島、ニュージーランド、トンガ、マーシャル諸島、サモア、ミクロネシア、パラオ、フィジー、パプアニューギニア、オーストラリア、スリナム、ブラジル、エクアドル、ペルー、ボリビア、ウルグアイ、パラグアイ、アルゼンチン、チリ、コロンビア、ベネズエラ、ガイアナ、ジャマイカ、バルバドス、キューバ、グレナダ、アンティグア、バーブーダ、セントクリストファレグ、スエントビンセント、グレナディン諸島、グアテマラ、コスタリカ、エントルジア、ドミニカ国、ドミニカ共和国、ニカラグア、バハマ、ベリーズ、ハイチ、トリニダード、トバゴ、エルサルバドル、ホンジュラス、パナマ、セネガル、ガーナ、タンザニア、オリシャス、コンゴ共和国、コンゴ民主共和国、南アフリカ共和国、モロッコ、ルワンダ、ガンダ、ガンビア、サントメプリンシペ、中央アフリカ、チュニジア、ナミビア、ベール、ペルー、ブルキナファソ、コートジボワール、ジブチ、マダガスカル、リビア。
Kandi Cat Cuff Tutorial. BC someone asked for it.
Today we are gonna like speed run making this super simple candy flower. Obviously you need string. I use about this much, probably about a foot and a half. String on 30 beads. I use 2 colors and just do them in 3s, but you can do as many as you want. And then tie off. It doesn't have to be super tight, but I do recommend double or triple knotting it. Put your string through that next bead so it comes out in the middle, and then string 1 bead. I'm gonna just rotate my colors. So if it's blue, I'm gonna do pink. If it's pink, I'm gonna do blue. Then you're going to go skip 1 bead and then go through the next 2 and pull through. So you kind of get this. Then we're gonna string on our next bead. Remember, I'm gonna switch colors, but whatever color you do doesn't matter. Skip 1 bead, then go in the next 2. Typically I'd use a little needle for this, so it's easier, but I'm trying to show that it's just as simple with your hands too. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and do that all the way around. Here's a tip: if you're not using a needle, go ahead and every time it gets like that, just cut this and it'll be easier to string through. So now that we put our last bead on, we're gonna string through those next 2 beads to just finish off that layer. And then we're gonna go ahead and go out the new bead that we added, that very first new bead that we added, so that we got this. I know it looks a little crazy right now. Just wait, after we add this layer, it'll look like it's forming the shape better. So next we're gonna string 2 beads. Now to get the flower effect, you wanna add the same color that you're there. So this is gonna be the blue, this is gonna be the pink, so I added 1 blue, 1 pink, and then I'm gonna go through the next bead. So I have this. I'll show you another one. So I'm gonna add the pink first this time, then the blue, and then sometimes it gets flipped around. You wanna make sure you're going through the middle bead. So if this is the blue, the pink would be considered that middle of the flower. And as you're seeing, it's kind of forming a little bit better, but we're gonna do that all the way around. As you're going, make sure there's some tension in the string, so keep pulling. That'll help it form its shape better. So now we've strung through to complete that layer. So we're in this middle bead currently. Now we're gonna string over 2 beads, those first 2 beads that we put on. Go ahead and go through there. Oh my gosh, I hate when it gets stuck, but it's okay. Now we're gonna string on 1 bead to complete that one, that flower. String through 2 beads. Add 1 bead. And then do this all the way around. Now that I put my last bead on, I'm just gonna string through the next 1 bead because I'm gonna go ahead and tie off. I'm gonna pull pretty tight just to make sure it holds that shape. I think it's a little easier to put your nail through to grab it because I didn't give myself really enough string here to be stringing through. But yeah, I'm gonna tie it off. I'm gonna triple knot it just because I absolutely have had Kandi shatter on me at the show and it's so sad. But yeah, this tutorial literally takes less than 5 minutes to make these once you get the hang of it. But yeah, so after you tie it off, you should have a pretty sturdy flower, and it's so cute and people love it. I remember this was the first one I ever received. This one was actually, someone made this one, and I literally was like, I have to learn how to make that. And then now I make all these different kind of candies. So hope that helped.
This is how to make a shaker ball. You'll need beads, optional yarn needle, some scissors, and some string. Tie 4 beads in a circle and cut off the rest, and then add your yarn needle to the end. Put a bead in each one of these spaces. This is what it should look like. Then add 2 beads in between each one of these points here. Again, add 2 beads in between each one of the gaps. Now add 3 beads in each one of these 4 gaps. Repeat with the same color, and you'll be doing this about 10 more times before we pretty much repeat the pattern. To close it off, we take 2 beads and put them in between where we would be putting the 3 beads. This is what it should look like. Now 2 more beads in between where you would be putting 3. Now we're going to decrease to 1 bead and put them on each corner. Now we're going to fill our shaker ball with leftover beads until about the halfway or right above the halfway mark. Now all we have left to do is add a bead in each one of these holes and then tie it off. That's it. That's how you make a shaker ball.
I'm going to show you how to make a simple ladder cuff. Now you can do this with really however many beads you want, but I'm just going to do 2 for today. And today's going to be inspired by trench. And although it doesn't particularly matter, these are the beads that I'm going to be using. So to start, I'm just going to take my string and I'm going to fold it in half. Just like this, so you have the 2 ends here. And then I'm just going to take my beads and I'm going to put them through. Then I'm just going to let that fall to the bottom here, just like that. Now if you're wanting to do a checkerboard pattern like this, you're going to want to make sure you pay attention to where the colors are and which ones you put on next. So next, I'm just going to see where these beads are. So black is right here, so the next yellow I'm going to want to go first. So I'm going to put the yellow and the black on one side of the string. So this one over here. Now do not let that fall to the bottom because you're going to take the other side and you're just going to string it through like that, just so it kind of crosses. So it's going to go like that, and you're going to take the 2 ends, grab them, and then pull this all the way down, just so it looks like that. So I'm just going to do that again. So on one half of the string, I'm just going to put on the 2 beads, one black, one yellow, and then I'm going to take the other half and put it through just like that. Grab both ends and pull this all the way down so it connects with the other ones, and you can just kind of adjust that. So now you're just going to continue that all the way into the very end. So I'm at my kind of halfway point here, and this is how it's looking. I'm now going to transition into these colors. So now I'm at the end here, so I'm going to show you how to tie this off. So what you're going to do is you're going to take these ends, you're going to connect them with this right here, and we're just going to take them and kind of go through like this. So this one's going to go through right there. Then I'm going to take them and I'm just going to tie it off right here. So you're only putting one end through, just so they both meet on the same side. And then I'm just going to tie it off. I like to do this 3, sometimes even 4 times. But we're just going to do that. Then I just cut the strings off and you're done. You can do this with really however many beads you want to. Yeah. And for me, I did 20 all the way around. But again, you can do however many you need. Yeah. Let me know if there's anything else you want a tutorial for.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Also, don't forget to drink water and get something to eat if not already. Oh, and one more thing, don't forget to subscribe.
Bye.